Thank you very much for my introduction. Definitely, I don't deserve so much of accolades. One day, I got a call from Mr. Bhave sir and Mr. Divya Gulati, President CLFMA, that Dr. Kolwankar, you have to speak on challenges and opportunities in the poultry. I just thought for a while, because definitely I'm not a professional speaker, but the burning issues that we are facing today in the poultry industry, I thought there cannot be any other platform bigger than this, where I can address the industry issues and send a message to the industry stakeholders and all associates. So my presentation is going to be a real-time story of burning poultry issues today. And friends, we need to find out the solution on them. If not, the industry is heading towards an existential crisis. So let us start the presentation. I'm going anti-sequence. It is challenges and opportunity, but I'll first speak on the opportunities, and then I'll come to the challenges. So as you all know about this, that the industry is fastest growing industry at the annual rate of around 8%. And there are, of course, obvious reasons that chicken meat is universally accepted as being it is consumed by all religions. Secondly, there is a huge gap between the global per capita consumption, that is the industry the global consumption is around 15 kg per capita, whereas the Indian consumption is around only 5 kg around per capita. So there's a huge gap. So there is definitely a big scope for the industry to grow. Then of course, it is one of the cheapest and quality protein source available at all nooks and corners. So that is also one of the, opportunity for the industry to grow. Rural household income is 12% coming from the livestock industry, and out of this 12%, 50% is coming only from the poultry, so that is 6%. So that is one of the reasons why the government is always attracted, and I'm sure the government will never allow this industry to die going forward, because it is a major source of income in the rural areas. There is a very good export opportunity today in the poultry. Our export is growing in the countries like UAE, Maldives, Bhutan, Bahrain. It is growing every year around 15 to 20%, but there are concerns. Export is definitely growing, but there are concerns which I'll come later. Industry is definitely becoming vertically integrated, right from breeding till processing activities. Bigger and bigger players are emerging, because of which definitely the protein quality, the bird's health is improving, and the bird price also is coming down, because of which more and more consumers are attracted, because definitely the healthier chicken at a cheaper price is becoming available in the market. So that is also, because of the another opportunity, we are getting in the industry today. Of course, you all know it's not new for everyone now that, from COVID onwards, the importance from the immunity is definitely grown. And whenever, the immunity question comes, it is protein, it's nothing but a protein which can boost the immunity. So ultimately, when it is protein, it is poultry, the chicken, so that is how, especially after COVID, the chicken consumption, per capita consumption is substantially growing. So that is also become a very good opportunity today in the poultry industry. Improved per capita consumption is also improving, because of which the affordability is increasing, and because of which, the people are, directing towards the chicken consumption more and more. So that is also becoming a opportunity. Poultry is becoming, day by day, year on year, the poultry is becoming more and more efficient. The nutrition in the poultry is improving. the genetics, genetic potential is improving year on a year. The management practices, infrastructure, this introduction of AI in the poultry, all these things together definitely improving, the efficiency of the poultry, because of which, again, the consumer is getting a healthier chicken and at a cheaper price. So definitely the consumption, it's helping to grow the chicken consumption in the society. So these are the opportunities, these are very few opportunities I'm mentioning here, but there are many more, which is not possible. But at the same time, there are concerns also. And my major topic today is two major concerns I'm going to elaborate more. One is diseases, and the second is, the ingredient prices, the feed prices. These are the two major concerns the industry is facing today, which I'll come later. But there are other concerns like hygiene and biosecurity. 15% of the poultry is still, the backward. It is a backward farming. Many small size segments, medium size poultry farms are still existing where the hygiene, biosecurity, vaccination practices are not followed properly. So it becomes a reservoir for the diseases, and then the diseases, these epidemics will spread to the organized segment also, and then it will become a national issue. Antibiotic resistance, of course, the antibiotics like colistins have been banned for long. These are the antibiotics which at one time were able to control many microbial infections successfully, but today for various reasons these antibiotics have been banned, because of which, now to control this disease has become a problem. But anyway, this antibiotic resistance also has become a major concern because of all these issues. The live bird market is still 95%, that is a major issue. All birds are still, carried live through the vehicles. They are going to many places, the makeshift shops, small shops, where the birds are slaughtered, where the hygiene, biosecurity is not followed properly. There's a problem of waste disposal, and again, these places become the reservoir for the infections, many microbial infections, which again become spread to the main poultry, and then that again become the big worry for the entire industry. So definitely this particular segment also, the processing segment also need to grow as fast as possible if the industry is really to be saved. I mentioned this already, 15% of the poultry farming is still, the backward. I told you, what are the implications of this in the industry today. Environmental sustainability also has become also a major concern where, the water shortage, waste disposal, carbon footprints, these are the major issues today the industry is facing, and definitely we need to find the solutions on this. Of course, industry, if processing segment grows more and more, that will be a good solution, especially in the waste management and carbon, these things. There is a shortage of skilled laborers. Even today, the poultry, there's an acute shortage of skilled laborers. The poultry industry is working with the unskilled laborers, where definitely the efficiency in the poultry is impacted. Here we can request government to start some poultry training schools where the skilled labor will come out, and ultimately it will help to improve the efficiency in the industry. As you know, our country is a developing country. There is a lot of poor segment in the country, where still the protein deficiency is there. Of course, that is a national concern, and it can be an opportunity for the poultry industry, because the government we can request government to start eggs, meat in the midday meals, and wherever it is possible. Already in some state it is already executed, but it can be started in the states where it is not there, and it can be started even at other places also wherever there is a scope. If this is done, then definitely the protein deficiency in the average Indian population will definitely reduce, ultimately improving health of the people, and that will become an opportunity for the Indian poultry industry. Indian poultry, the sectoral recognition is not there. See, because of this, no sectoral recognition, the Indian poultry farmers, Indian poultry stakeholders, they are not able to approach to the government for the government schemes, government subsidies, structured finance. The direct approach is not there because today the poultry is coming under the livestock industry. So we can request to the government to recognize poultry as an independent sector so that we can get access to all these directly. Now the major concern, Major concern is diseases. I'd like to elaborate on this. See, there are few major diseases today. They are disturbing the industry like anything. Out of which H5N1, or we call it as a highly pathogenic avian influenza. Then there is a low pathogenic avian influenza. There is a Rannicate disease. There's an inclusion body, IBH, IBD. There are so many diseases, kidney infections. There are so many diseases today. They are disturbing the industry like anything. But to tell you frankly, out of these all diseases, there are diseases like RD, IBD, IBH. These diseases can be effectively controlled by proper vaccination programs, because today the advancement in the vaccines technology, like the immunocomplex vaccines, recombinant vaccines, vector vaccines, the very effective vaccines are available globally and in India also, with which we are able to successfully control the disease like RD, IBD, IBH. But the major concern is HPAI and LPAI. Friends, I'm going to tell you a story. My presentation is going to be like a story. It's coming from the horse's mouth. I am the sufferer. It's a real-time story I'm going to tell you now. Look at the mortality percentage because of HPAI. I am in the industry for the last 35 years, but I never faced the problem that I'm facing this year. All these years, I'm in the industry since 1981. All these years, 1988, but all these years, the problems will come, infections will come, the mortality will be there, heavy mortality will be there for a short time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It will come under control, but then the vacuum will be created, the prices will surge to the tune of 120, 130 rupees. The recovery will take place, again the industry will become stable, the stakeholders will be relaxed. But this year the story is totally different. It's heading towards existential crisis. Last 8-9 months, if you look at the pattern, the mortality started from Bengal. Bengal, the mortality has gone to a tune of 55-60%. No solution. The stakeholders are just with folded hands watching, that mortality, the way the mortality is happening, stargazed. No solution, nothing is working on it. Then after South Bengal, it is in the month of March, February, March, April. Then it is followed Telangana again 35-40% mortality. Then Telangana is followed by Maharashtra, again 20-25% mortality. Gujarat, everywhere mortality is not less than 25-30%. It's terrible. Now, then in North, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, the mortality is to tune of 35-40%. Earlier, the mortality was never so much. But every year, the mortality is growing more and more. Recently, even today, it is almost 8 months, this particular pattern, it is like this virus is roaming all over the country from one place to other place. Even today, the mortalities are going on in Orissa to the tune of 25-30%. No solution. The entire industry is burning. There's no solution. And the losses due to mortality is one part. But this year, what you have observed, the another pattern, that is news. If you look at the news, the initial news came in Andhra Pradesh. What happens after the news? Of course, when the mortality happens, samples are collected, sent to the lab. If it comes positive, then it becomes viral through media, here, there, wherever it is possible. There will be a fear psychosis among the consumers. Absolutely fear psychosis among the consumers. The consumption will drop to the tune of 50-60%. We people become helpless, not able to sell the birds. And that is additional, that is second loss. The prices will drop to the rock bottom. And those birds, since are not sold in the respective state, they will start traveling, because today the infrastructure becomes so much, vehicles are flying from one place to other place easily. The birds will travel to the neighboring states and they will damage the market of the neighboring states also. This is become, is a big issue in the industry today, and the entire industry is on the boil. This is really something, we all need to look at, and we need to find out a solution. Look at the news, first it is in Andhra Pradesh. Then there is again, the news came in Maharashtra, the same impact. News becomes viral, drop in the consumption, drop in the prices, and the losses. The same sequence. Then in the month of March, there are many fake news also. In the month of March, there's a news in Andhra Pradesh that 2 years girl died because of the bird flu infection. This is just can't believe. 2 years Girl getting access to a chicken piece and getting the bird flu, and this is not believable. This fake news, okay, but the consumer will not understand which is the true news or fake news. Consumer, the fear psychosis is there, the consumption will drop. Almost, I would say, I don't have the proper data, but I would say at least 5% of the consumer ran away from the chicken permanently because of this continuous news. Then recently, the news came in Telangana, then came in Orissa. Recently, there's a news in UP. The industry was the prices were about to take off. The news came in Rampur, again the same story. The prices in UP suppressed Bihar, Bihar suppressed North, and then the same story entire country. So this is continuing. This is really something very, very terrible, and we all stakeholders, associates, need to look at it very seriously, and we need to work on the solution as early as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be a bigger problem. What is the solution on this? Of course, there's a solution, and that solution is nothing but the vaccines. The effective vaccines are available in the bird flu. Unfortunately, the vaccines are not available in India, let me tell you. I will tell you the story, the world story of vaccines. You look at countries like China, Vietnam, Egypt, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Pakistan, they have opted for the mass vaccination. These countries were on the boil at one stage some 5-6 years before, when they came to know that everybody is expecting that this virus will, today or tomorrow, will lose its virulence, it will disappear, the industry will become peaceful. But friends, after 15-20 years of experience of this virus, it's not becoming less virulent or something like, rather it is becoming more and more virulent. The mortality patterns are telling. Earlier, when the virus used to come, the mortalities will be around to the tune of 10-15% somewhere, and the virus will disappear, industry will come back normal, but today it is going to the tune of 50-55%. Many farms are 100% wiped out. So this virus is becoming more and more virulent. So these countries have understood that vaccination is the only solution. They have opted for the mass vaccination, and today these countries are doing the business very peacefully. This is what the reports are coming from the market. Many other countries like, they are opted for the use of vaccines for the emergency and preemptive strategies like Mexico. France is already opted for duck vaccination because, see, these European countries, all these years, I have spoken to many people from the Europe working in the poultry industry. They said that, the practice that is followed in Europe is stamping out. When the infection comes in a particular, it's stamping out and giving compensation to the farmers. They thought, 1 to 3 years stamping out, the virus will disappear. But on the contrary, they have come to a conclusion that virus is not going to disappear. This virus is going to become more and more virulent. The solution is, and they are tired of, stamping and compensations. They are tired. Now, they are definitely thinking out, very strongly, for the vaccination programs in the poultry. So, the France has already opted for the duck vaccination, even the Mexico also. Now, the countries like Algeria, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Cambodia, almost done for the approval. Everybody, they are almost done for the approval. Even the countries in Europe like Netherlands, Italy, Germany, permission for the limited usage already given. Because they have understood there is no other solution. Vaccine is the only solution. USA and Canada, they are evaluating all vaccines after found cases in dairy. Now, very recently, in USA is mulling about, because there's a policy, there's an international policy that vaccinated birds can't be exported. But USA is mulling about shifting, make a shift in the policy, that even the vaccinated birds also can be exported because it is become a global pandemic. It is become a global issue. So if that is done, then India need not have to worry even about the export of the chicken also. There are many, vaccines, recombinant vaccines, as I said, recombinant vaccines, inactivated vaccines, effective vaccines are available. Government, no doubt, government has given the permission for making vaccine on LPI, but friends, LPI vaccine is not working against HPI. Of course, government should think about giving permission for the HPI also, but making an effective vaccine indigenously and efficiently working, in the poultry, it may take some time, but industry cannot wait till then. Industry need immediate solution, and I think that solution is nothing but the import of vaccines. So, here I want to send a message to the industry stakeholders and to the associates that let us come together, work together, approach the government, let us request government, rather pressurize government whenever it is necessary that government should help us in importing the vaccines. Of course, government also has some expectations from the industry, like they want all the single poultry units of all companies to be registered on their platform, animal husbandry platform. We have to respond. We'll have to respond to the government. They also expect from the industry a proper reporting whenever the mortality is started, it should be immediately reported to the animal husbandry department. We'll have to respond. We'll have to do the reporting. They also expect from the industry to have a better hygiene and biosecurity controls, like, the mortality pits and so many other things. We'll have to follow. Of course, the industry is already following it. The organized players are already following it. But we'll have to strengthen it more and more. We'll have to follow it more and more religiously. All those things we'll have to follow. And collectively, we all should approach the government, and then we can pressurize, request, that yes, everything what you expect from us, we are there to follow, we are there to respond. But at the same time, we need help from the government for the import of very effective vaccines, at least until effective vaccines are developed in the country indigenously. But if that is not done, then definitely the industry is going to a existential crisis. So this is about, the HPI, what I wanted to mention. Now there is another threat in the industry. It's not the government, but it's to the, the industry, the stakeholders, and of course to the associates, that kidney infections. I don't know how many people have noticed this, but if you look at this particular disease pattern, it also started somewhere in 2010 in East, in Bengal. I have personally done the postmortems. There's only kidney involvement. We don't know what is the causative agent. What is the etiology, we don't know. It was initially not a big threat because the mortality was starting at the stage of some 6 to 7 days. And then it is a self-limiting infection. Within 15 days the mortality will come under control. Some 5-10% mortality will happen. No impact, major impact on the efficiency because the small birds were dying. But today, it's not limited to East. It's growing like LPI and HPI only. Now, today you will find this particular infection is becoming more and more rampant. The virus is becoming more and more virulent. The mortality is, even trending to the tune of 20-25% also, even some places 30-35% also. And it is become very rampant, not only in East and Northeast, but also in South and West. You will find infections in South, you will find infections in Maharashtra, huge mortalities. So this has also become a disease of concern. Here, I want to send a message to all scientists working in the industry, all the stakeholders and all the associates, that we all need to work together to find out exact. Today, this disease is not yet named because no particular virus is isolated, no antigen is isolated properly. Premium, my company, we have worked in collaboration with the Guwahati Veterinary College. We have worked in collaboration with the Venkateshwara, Dr. Chawak, the head of Venkateshwara Laboratory. They have helped us a lot. They have isolated antigens from the field. They have made vaccines, and we have taken trials of those vaccines. But unfortunately, those vaccines are not working. But we need to work more and more. More research is required to find out a effective vaccine on this disease. Otherwise, this disease also is going to be a growing menace going forward. Just for your information. So this is about diseases, what I wanted to mention. And now, in the last slide, another major concern that I'd like to highlight is the feed prices, the Indian prices. This is also one of the major concerns the Indian industry is facing today. If you look at the feed prices in India, definitely they are at least 25 to 30% higher than the prices of Brazil, US, where the GMO crop cultivation is done. The difference is GMO and non-GMO. Look at the prices. I have taken the data for this year from January onwards. If you look at the corn price in Brazil and US, it is trending between 17,000 to 18,000 rupees, whereas in India it is around 25,000 rupees. This is the data for this year. Average price. There is a difference of around 25%. If you look at the soybean price, The DOC price I'm talking about, it is 34 to 35 rupees in the countries like US and Brazil. And of course, in India, the price is around 44 to 45,000 rupees. Today, the difference of again 20-25%. This 20-25% difference in the poultry feed or the ingredients is huge because, as you all know, 70% the Indian poultry is nothing but 70% is the feed. So this particular thing is coming in the way of even we are not becoming competitive in the export market. So if we get a help from the government, of course, when we come together, collectively approach the government, we can request government, think about this also, try to allow GMO crop cultivation in India so that it will not only help the poultry industry, it will not only make the poultry industry competitive, but it will also, make the agriculture farmers' income double, because it is said that GMO crop, when you cultivate, the production is, the yield is almost double or triple than what you get with the non-GMO. So when that is the case, the agriculture farmer income also will become double. The poultry industry, the chicken cost also will come down. More and more consumer will be attracted, and the Indian chicken also will become competitive in the export market. So these are all benefits we'll definitely get. So this is all about my presentation. As I told, I'm going to tell a story. So this is all story about how, our fingers are burning in the industry. And definitely, once again, I want to send a message to all the industry stakeholders. Let us come together, work together, approach to the government, try to get these things done, because Indian poultry is in a position to take off. Indian poultry efficiency is of the world standards. Even at times, it is more than the world standards. But Indian poultry is not becoming competitive only for two reasons. That is, the disease is not coming under control, and of course, the Indian poultry feed price is 20-25% higher. So if we taken care of these two issues, two concerns, then definitely Indian poultry will become very soon #1 poultry on the world map. I'm very sure about it. That is all about my presentation. Thank you very much.